From heaven to the abyss, Lucifer's story is one of the greatest mysteries in spiritual history. Lucifer, once one of the brightest angels, known as the morning star. But how did such a magnificent angel become the symbol of downfall and darkness? The story of Lucifer is not just one of a fall, but a warning about the power of pride. Let's uncover the complete story of Lucifer, from glory to curse. Before he became Satan, who was Lucifer? The story begins in heaven. Lucifer, whose name means morning star, was created as a perfect angel, full of power and beauty. Lucifer was chosen to lead worship and serve directly before God's throne. But with his power and beauty, pride began to take root in Lucifer's heart. He began to believe he deserved more, that he could become like God. In Isaiah 14:13-14, Lucifer says, "I will ascend to the heavens. I will make myself like the Most High." Lucifer didn't just want more. He began to draw other angels, sowing doubt and discontent. A third of the angels followed him, drawn by his distorted vision of freedom and power. But rebellion could not go unanswered. God confronted Lucifer and the fallen angels. Michael, the archangel, led the loyal angels in a battle against Lucifer. The battle in heaven was not just about power, but about loyalty and holiness. Michael faced Lucifer, once an ally, now an enemy of heaven. Lucifer and the rebellious angels could not withstand God's power. They were cast out of heaven. Revelation 12:9 describes Lucifer and the fallen angels being thrown to earth, where their plans began. From a radiant angel, Lucifer now became Satan, the adversary of God and humanity. Pride led to his fall, but hatred drove him to seek revenge against God. Satan sought to corrupt everything God had created, starting with humanity. The Bible describes Satan tempting Adam and Eve, using lies to lead them into disobedience. Satan's rebellion now extended beyond heaven, reaching into the world of humanity. Sin entered the world, and Satan thought he had won, but God's plan was still in motion. Though cast out of heaven, Satan continued to challenge God, trying to destroy his purposes. He became the tempter, the liar, and the accuser, sowing doubt and fear into the hearts of humanity. Throughout history, God raised up prophets to confront Satan and restore hope. Satan did not foresee that redemption for humanity would come through the cross, a victory beyond his understanding. Satan tried to defeat God by attacking Jesus, but it was part of the redemption plan. At the cross, Jesus declared the ultimate victory, breaking the power of Satan. Satan's rebellion ended in defeat, but he continues to resist, knowing his time is limited. Revelation 20:10 prophesies Satan's ultimate fate, to be thrown into the lake of eternal fire. The story of Satan reminds us that the power of evil cannot overcome the light of God. Our hope does not lie in our strength, but in the victory of Jesus. The cross reminds us that light always triumphs over darkness, and God's love is eternal. We do not fight alone. With God, we stand firm against all of Satan's schemes. God's light always shines, even in the darkest moments. The story of Lucifer reminds us that ultimately, the victory always belongs to God. And now, the story is not about Satan's defeat, but about God's victory in your life. Lucifer's pivotal moment came when he declared, "I will make myself like the Most High." This declaration marked the beginning of the greatest rebellion in heaven's history. Michael, the archangel, led God's army to confront Lucifer. A heavenly battle erupted, light against darkness, loyalty against betrayal. Despite their power, Lucifer and the fallen angels could not overcome God's might. Michael defeated Lucifer, and the fate of the rebellion was sealed. Revelation 12:7-9 recounts that Lucifer and the fallen angels were cast out of heaven. Lucifer not only lost his position, but also the light and beauty he once possessed. Though cast out of heaven, Lucifer did not abandon his goal. He turned his attention to humanity. Lucifer appeared as a serpent in the Garden of Eden, laying the foundation for rebellion on earth. Sin entered the world through Lucifer's temptation, resulting in separation between humanity and God. But God prophesied his victory. One day, the offspring of the woman would crush the serpent's head. Lucifer became the tempter, the enemy, and the accuser, continuing to challenge God by corrupting humanity. But God never abandoned humanity. He sent prophets to restore hope and counteract evil. Ultimately, God sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to confront Satan and redeem humanity. In the wilderness, Satan tried to tempt Jesus, but he triumphed through the power of God's Word. At the cross, Jesus not only paid for humanity's sin, but also destroyed Satan's power. Jesus' resurrection marked the ultimate victory, ensuring that Satan could not prevail. Revelation 20:10 prophesies that Satan will be thrown into the lake of fire, the end of evil. The cross is proof that light always triumphs over darkness, and God's love is eternal. Though Satan is still active, his ultimate fate has been sealed, and he cannot escape. Lucifer's story reminds us that victory belongs to God, and our hope is everlasting. In every trial, God's light shines, guiding us through the darkness. The glory of heaven remains, and God's promises never fail. The cross is a reminder that God's love is stronger than any betrayal. Let this story remind you that no matter how strong the darkness, God's light will always prevail. After his failed rebellion, Lucifer became Satan, the eternal adversary of God. Cast out of heaven, Satan is now consumed by rage and a thirst for revenge. He turned his anger toward the world, attempting to corrupt God's creation. The fall of humanity was one of Satan's first major victories, but it would not be his last. Satan continued his work through every generation, leading humanity away from God into disobedience. But God was not silent. He raised up prophets to combat Satan's evil and bring hope to his people. Satan thought he had won when Jesus was crucified, but it was the beginning of his defeat. Jesus' resurrection marked Satan's greatest defeat and ensured the ultimate victory of light. Satan knows his time is limited. Revelation prophesies the day he will be bound forever. Though Satan continues to act, God holds ultimate control, and his plan remains unchanged. In every trial, God's light continues to guide those who trust in him. Lucifer's story is a reminder of the power of pride, but also of the victory of faith. The cross reminds us that God's love is stronger than any betrayal or evil. We do not fight alone. With God, we have the strength to stand firm against all of Satan's temptations. No matter how strong the darkness, God's light will always prevail. Let God's light guide you, just as he triumphed over Satan on the cross. Lucifer's story is not just one of a fall, but also one of hope and redemption. Remember, no matter how hard Satan tries, God's power is always greater. Jesus overcame darkness so that we may live in the light. The victory has been won, and we are invited to walk in God's light. This world may be full of trials, but with God, we can overcome them all. Lucifer's story reminds us that, with God, darkness is never the final chapter. The cross is the symbol of light's eternal triumph over darkness. God is the ultimate victor, and he invites us all to enter his glory. Let God's light guide you, and always remember, he has overcome. This story is not just about Lucifer's fall, but about God's eternal victory. Lucifer's story is not just about a fall, but also a warning to us about the power of pride. But more importantly, it's a reminder that God is always in control, and his love is eternal. Jesus came into the world to destroy Satan's power and open the path to redemption. The cross is not only a symbol of sacrifice, but also a symbol of eternal victory. Through Jesus, we are reminded that light always triumphs over darkness. No matter how dark the world may be, God's light will never be extinguished. We are called to walk in God's light, living with faith and hope. Heaven is a reminder of God's ultimate victory over all evil. Lucifer may have fallen, but God's love endures through all ages. We are given the opportunity to choose the light, to live in redemption and hope. Lucifer's story is not just about a fall, but about God's undying light. Remember, we do not fight alone. God is always with us. The cross is the symbol of redemption, a reminder that light will always prevail. Let this story inspire you to choose the light and live a life full of faith. Ultimately, God will fulfill His promise, the victory of light and love. Remember, no matter what the world brings, God's light will always be with you. Trust in the light, for God has overcome the darkness for us. The flame of faith will always burn bright, for God is the eternal source of light. No matter how hard Satan tries, he cannot stop God's light from shining across the world. Let this story remind you that with God, nothing is impossible. God's love and His light will always triumph over any darkness. No matter how strong the darkness, God's light will never be extinguished. Heaven is the place where God's light and love will forever prevail. Lucifer's story is a reminder to always trust in God's power and love. Let God's light guide you, for He has conquered the darkness for us. Always remember, God's light will always shine and guide you. Do you love meaningful Bible stories? Top 7 Bible Stories channel will bring you inspiration and peace every day. Don't forget to like and share your thoughts in the comments section. Your sharing is the motivation for us to bring more stories. Top 7 Bible Stories. Good stories, beautiful meanings.